Well, hello, and welcome to another video. This one is on Michi. I was dying to play this ever since I saw the new map pool. I've never played 1v1 Michi before. It's so weird. You start with 9 villagers. You have a large area of trees in between each player, otherwise an open map on the sides. So you're pretty much free to boom to Imp, which is the first time anyone can really chop through these trees, unless you're Khmer, in which case you can chop through in Castle Age. The red guy here, Amnoira, is Japanese, and I am the Khmer, so I actually could chop through in Castle Age if I wanted to, although, spoiler alert, I don't really want to. I want to make sure I have the eco before I do that. So speeding through this a little bit, just to make sure I get to the important parts, you know. I did get to Feudal Age, got that on the way. Got 2 on gold. The good thing about Khmer is you don't have to build the buildings to advance. So I didn't have to put as many on wood because I don't have to build those buildings. And now look at that, I'm already up to Castle Age. We're only 9 minutes in, and I've already clicked Castle Age. That's crazy. It is a 9 villager start, so there is that. But I'm happy with it. It's not too often you see a sub 12-minute Castle Age. It's gonna be 11:30 for that Castle Age time. So great. He has just now clicked to Castle Age. Let's think about this matchup a little bit as I plop 2 town centers and start the boom process. So Japanese are usually infantry, sometimes they are cav archers, at least that's what I'm thinking. And I'm thinking I just want to do my my unique unit out of my castle, which is the ballista elephant. So it should do well against infantry, it should do well against the archer units because it's big and has a lot of HP, and then shoots double crossbow bolts or double scorpion bolts. It is actually. So another important thing on this map is you do have a neutral market in the corner. So in team game Michi maps, trade is always a big deal. So they made sure that in the 1v1 version you had a neutral market to trade through to. So I built a market in the corner. He's got a market as well that he could establish a trade line with. So that is part of the game, and it's going to come into play here. Anyways, I don't even want to admit how many attempts it took to get a Michi game. Although Michi was exciting to me to play, all the other maps that are in this version of the map pool were not exciting to me. So I had trouble figuring out which maps to ban, and I chose not to ban Arabia. Turns out, if you don't ban Arabia, you always get Arabia. So I had like 5 straight Arabia games, even though I had Michi selected as my favorite. So although I don't mind Arabia, I don't want to play it every game, and I'm not very good at the Feudal Age stuff, so what is this? Sanctity. So he's wanting to do some monk play in some way. Interesting. Okay. It's already got 2 monks. There's only 1 relic on each side of the map, so not really any need to build a second monk unless you are planning to use them. Let's see, villager count at this point. He's actually slightly ahead. No, wait, I'm actually slightly ahead. 64 villagers to 54. Sorry, I didn't quite know how to read the screen there. But he does have a 4th town center, so he could catch up soon. I'm still rolling with 3 town centers. It's my comfort zone. I am building outposts all along the front of the map just so I can see when he decides to chop through, so I can see what's coming. Got the old scout guarding the villager because she does get attacked by wolves occasionally. This is my first military building, and actually I don't need to build a barracks unless I need to go infantry units, because I'm Khmer. I don't need to build the barracks in order to build the stable, for example. My main unit's coming out of this castle, which I built forward, mainly because I'm thinking I'm probably going to get... The fights usually go through the middle, so if I can have castle fire firing along the eventual opening, then that's going to be good for me in case anything tries to sneak through. Also, like I said, I am planning to go the unique unit out of my castle. I'm also planning to go with elephants or hussar out of the stable as a complement. He is making the castle as well, so we could see some samurai from him. He's actually getting gold shaft mining. That's the second mining upgrade, so good job on him to think of that. I never think of that. So I do have trade going. He hasn't quite gotten trade up yet, but he's doing it now. He's already getting handcart as well. I'm getting ballistics. This affects not only my castle, but also the elephant scorpions that are coming out of it. And so this is double crossbow, so that gives me two scorpion bullets out of each elephant, or scorpion if I chose to go scorpions. But still no attacks through the middle, so I'm going to build that second castle. Like I said, I'm expecting an attack right through here. And actually going to stonewall the sides, just to try to make sure there's no other side attack. We can force things through this middle here. Meanwhile, I got to Imperial Age, and that might be a little scary for him, thinking what's going to come, because Imperial Age there's a lot more ways to chop trees and cut through, but honestly I'm not going to do anything with it. Just getting my upgrades now. Got Elite Ballista Elephant, now I've got 2 castles I can produce from, and now I've got my first Ballista Elephant. He's also on his way up to Imperial Age. He's getting Gambesons for his infantry, so he's planning to go infantry. He's also getting Bodkin arrows, so maybe thinking some kind of archer unit, or maybe he's just wanting the assistance from the castles. Anyways, I'm starting to mass the Ballista Elephants now, getting a 3rd castle up over here. So if he runs into the stone wall, tries to cut to here, there's another castle there. Plus, I need these castles for production of these Ballista Elephants. Got a handful of stables now as well that I plan to use to once I get my army going. Who's even getting murder holes? Interesting. I'm getting chemistry. I don't get bombard cannons. I think that's just mainly to get the extra range on my castles, an extra attack. Otherwise, main focus has been on the upgrades for the scorpions. I'm going to start stonewalling this side as well, just to make sure, again, we force the fight through the center here. Now my ballistas are going to go ahead and start chopping through these trees. It's actually kind of annoying using the ballistas because they only chop 1 tree at a time. And so the hole you end up making with ballistas ends up being pretty small. If you use onagers instead, they give a nice big splash. So if you do 1 splash with an onager, it usually knocks down 4, 5, 6 trees at once. Much easier to deal with. He could possibly hear me chopping through there, but so far he hasn't reacted. He hasn't seen it yet. He doesn't have outposts, so he may not see it quickly at all. Now I'm thinking, well, that's a lot of ballistas to kind of overkill on these trees here, so I'm going to try to just use the 1 here. He's getting block printing on the monks, okay, and he's getting keep, so he's upgrading towers. He has built a tower here, interestingly enough, between his castle and TC. Maybe he's also expecting the attack to come through here eventually, but if that's the case, why put your wood villagers here? I don't know. herbal medicine, so to heal inside the town center. I'm also getting infantry upgrades just in case I might need some pikes. And I'm building a couple more barracks. Japanese can occasionally go Nightline. Now he's got a lot of trade carts. Look at that, and he's got towers all up around his trading areas. So he's expecting that if I get in and do a raid, that I'll have a harder time killing off his trade. I have trade going too, but not near as much as him. I'm generally not that good at taking advantage of the trade. I'm still like, I got plenty of gold to mine. I don't really need the trade yet. He's mining all the gold and getting all the trade carts. And look how much gold he's got. He's got 3,000 gold. I've only got 100. Granted, I've invested a fair amount into these ballista elephants and actual elephants. So here comes the actual elephants. My thought process is, this is basically an infinite gold map because of the trade, so I could do double gold units, elephants and ballista elephants. Now I see his villagers here, so I start to go this way. But now he starts to see these cutting through. I notice he saw that too, so I'm just like, screw it, I'll just go straight through. Trying to anyways. Got samurai massing here. He's building these towers. So the Japanese have a unique tech that allows them to get extra arrows on their towers. But look at these ballista elephants absolutely wrecking these infantry. So this is a great matchup for me. So I'm happy enough to take that trade. I do see the towers going up, and I'm like, what the fuck? I don't. That's weird. I haven't seen someone play with towers like that in a while. So this is my view. The hole is so small and these elephants are so big, it's really hard to get through. So I got 20 elephants and 15 ballista elephants, and he's making more towers. Look at all these towers. So, believe it or not, with the extra attack and all these towers around, they actually do a half-decent job against these fat guys. I'm going in for some raids, thinking, okay, well, these elephants don't mind the archer fire, but here comes some cavalier. There are a couple of monks that made a couple of conversions, got a couple of my elephants there. But although I did get into his eco, I don't know if I'm really making a lot of progress here. I'm still streaming in these units, but you can see the HP on them is really starting to fade, so their time in his eco is coming to an end shortly. He had 114 village, well, he has 114, so he might have had a lot more a little before that, so if anything, that might actually give him more pop space for some army. But I'm still fighting under these freaking towers, so I've got to think of a way to take those down. My first thought was I could just use these elephants to take them down. But these elephants are not getting that job done. They're big and bulky, can't really move very well, and with the extra arrow fire here, he's got ballistics, and a ton of these keeps. He's actually keeping me from really making much progress in. The ballista elephants in particular seem even more vulnerable to the arrow fire. They've got 300 HP. These elephants have 320. But yeah, I mean, he's cleaned up all the army I've sent, and I've really just spent a lot on this. Look at my gold count here. Although I've got 27 on gold, I am constantly down around 200 or less, you know, constantly spending that gold on these gold units. I finally brought a treb forward, and that's my answer to the towers. I'm like, okay, I gotta get some trebs going. I actually started mixing in some hussar here, but unfortunately streaming them in one at a time, and they die to the towers even easier. And this army is all dying, so I really need to regroup. But I guess I'm gonna move forward. I still think that this is enough somehow. But there's like a castle back here, and there's 20 keeps on the map right here. So I'm finally starting to tread one double down. But you can see these horses just take, you know, one decent shot from the arrows and they're dead. So those aren't really going to be the answer until I can kill some of these towers. But gonna stick with my comp here. Dropping the elephants for a while. Well, I'm still making a few elephants. But like I said, I am mixing in some hussars in there because I just don't have the gold. Look at him, 50 on gold, I've only got 30. So this is where it's making a difference that he has all of these trade carts. Granted, he's not making a lot of army. He just bought food, actually. So I guess maybe I did take out enough farming villagers that he had to readjust his eco there with the market. But that's a lot of... He's actually mined... Looks like he's mined just about all of his gold. This is the last gold pile he's got. He's got 130 left on it. The rest of it is all trade carts. And he's still just making keep after keep after keep. He's got 25 keeps right now. And that's after I've already knocked down a few. Now he's starting to make siege workshops as well, so maybe he's thinking onagers to flatten my ballista elephants, which would be a good play. I try to poke my nose back in here just to see what's going on, see what army he's got. Got to pull back. Really going to be a slow haul trying to clear all these towers. That's just so many towers. I don't think I've ever played against someone who's built so many towers. But because of that, although it is annoying, it's also very defensive and very tough to push through. So he's going to have all the time in the world to come up with an answer to my army composition. I'm pop capped. He's actually not. He's only got 153. So if I wanted to go to a different unit comp, I actually couldn't at this point. I did see the knights though, so I mixed in some halbs. Got 7 barracks, got 11 stables, and 5 castles. 5 castles. So I can produce out all of that, but I'm so slow because I have to kill all these towers before I can move forward again. It took me this long to realize that this army was just not going to be able to make it through all those towers. I still don't see the siege workshops. He's going to go finish that keep. See, this is where I see, yeah, they can take down these towers if they can really get a surround in on them. But now the units just go wander off to their deaths, chasing villagers through the TCs and the towers. I do see he's got onagers now, and so I've tried to take him out with the ballista elephants, but unfortunately it's not that easy. Now I'm trying to loop around with the hussar, but again, they just die to these towers so fast. I did manage to kill that onager, but it took 3 hussar deaths to get it done. Now I'm also still frustrated with this hole, so I'm even making it a little bit wider because I've had so much trouble getting through. These elephants are big. Meanwhile, look up here, he's preparing a massive counterattack. He's got 37 cavalier, and he's got 6 onagers. So I don't see that just yet. I do start to see it now, and unfortunately I am pop capped, which means if I'm going to bring army around, it has to be this army because I can't make more. But I do see it at this point, and I'm starting to think, how am I going to deal with that? He's going to at least run into the stone wall at first. I'm still trying to maintain a presence here. I actually tried to send these hussars around to grab these, but they died to the towers. So that's just not enough hussar. See, now I'm starting to mass some army over here. All my new army's going to go over this way, while whatever goes this way slowly dies. And so he's actually broken a hole in the stone walls already, And now's when I see the Cavalier. I'm like, oh shit, that's a lot of Cavalier. At least his onagers are blocking them from getting in for a second. But I don't have any. I've tried to send these villagers to wall it off, and they're not going to make it. They are not making it. Alright, so he's into my base in an area that's completely undefended. All my army's forward and really slow. He's moving forward with some onagers here that are going to threaten these trebs. I've got a lot to look at on both sides here. He's going to come in for some raids on the eco with 19 Cavalier here, another 23 there. I got a garrison in the town center. Granted, I don't have all the towers he's got, so he's going to split some off and go this way. So he's doing a really good job of just covering my whole eco. And now look at this guy. He's making these dang towers that I've had the most trouble with. He's building them on my side of the map. I feel very offended by this. He's actually going down here and he's already guarding my trade. So he's really wanting to block my trade. He's actually trying to take this castle out with the onagers, and he's doing a decent job of it. Until I finally realize these onagers are within shooting distance of my castle. And so now I actually target fire the onagers, so I don't lose the castle. I might lose that TC though. I'm certainly losing my trade. Try to go in for these villagers because I don't want more of these towers showing up. Meanwhile, on the front, there's actually a fight here too. He's taking out my trebs. I mean, these ballistas are actually doing a really good job against any army he throws at me. But, unfortunately, they just can't advance until I make some progress there. So now, in addition to the 25 towers he had over there, there's an additional 17 that he's building in my base. So that's, you know, I'm not that good with math, but it's like 42 towers or something like that. Half of which are on my side of the map. That TC did go down. I am down to, well, I have 108 villagers. Look at him, though. He's only got 54, so I think he's focusing really heavy on that trade. 54 villagers and then 47 trade carts. I guess that does get you back up to about 100. These villagers are all dying. They're just sitting here. These halbs were not in position. Now they are. And now that he sees them, he's going to run them to the towers. Now he's building his own barracks. So he's going to make infantry of his own around here. He's completely blocked off my trade by building all these towers. I'm trying to build this TC again because, well, there's all that farmland. I want it again. Meanwhile, still poking away on the front, all while also trying to slowly deal with this stuff too. But again, look how fast these elephants actually die to these towers. So annoying. I actually need to build trebs and send them into my own base to clear this stuff. Meanwhile, there's still 21 Cavaliers sitting here. I am sending these halbs up through here. I saw he had those Cavaliers sitting there. I'm like, free kills, I'll take it. Still dying elephants to the towers. He spotted the villager that was making the TC. Maybe this is enough elephants to start taking out these towers, but again, look how fast. It's already killed one elephant. I do finally have a treb, another treb coming. Still keeping the fight out front. Do have one treb out in the front, but it's so hard to keep track of all of this. I did want to try to keep him from making buildings and making additional military over here, but I'm only going to get so far with that. These elephants actually probably die to these Cavalier under the towers. So keep in mind, I don't have anybody on gold at this point. I have a lot in the bank, but I don't have any trade. I do have 10 villagers on gold somewhere, so there's probably still gold somewhere. Can't find it, but it's there somewhere. So I can't just keep making elephants forever. because I don't have any access to gold. He's got 5,700 gold and counting. I think the main way I've been getting gold is through selling at the market. Meanwhile, look at this. He's getting a longsword upgrade. He's making some barracks back here, so he's thinking he's going to go infantry. Now that, because he's noticed I don't have any ballista elephants over here, which is true. So they're all forward here, dying slowly to this onager, because I think I put them on no attack stance. I got this monk over here trying to heal him, but unfortunately, this isn't a great fight for my ballista elephants. So I might get those, but I'm going to lose a lot of elephants trying to do it. Oh, I didn't get it. I have to go back. Oh, and now there's another one. Okay, so I do have the monk to try to heal them, but it actually takes a while to heal them. I am guarding against additional units coming in. Do I see that he's building these? I only see that he's making stables. Oh, I do see one barracks. So I do have, a clue that maybe there's something other than horses coming. But now is when I'll start to realize, okay, it's a lot more than just horses. I'm going to need ballista elephants on this side of the map. And I kind of retreat here because these freaking onagers, and I don't have a treb there anymore. So now I've got these two trebs that are pretty exposed. These just got upgraded to two-handed. No, those are champions. So those took down the trebs very fast. Really kind of struggling at this point. I got 102 villagers, which I guess that's about as many as he does if you consider the trade carts, but I got no access to gold still. And look at that gold count just dropping. But look at him. He's buying food with all that gold. He's buying food, which is getting me decent prices. Now, I remember I was selling at the market for about 130 gold per 100 food, which is amazing. I'm Khmer. I could farm anywhere. My farmers are a lot more efficient because they don't have to drop it off at the town center or the mill. They just dump it automatically. So, I can sell food for gold. He's even got monks over here converting my elephants. So at some point I can't make any more elephants. I did start a ballista elephant mass over here, and I gotta switch to hussar as my complementary unit. This army's still just sitting here. I guess it could make a run through here, but again, it'd go through all those towers. And I'm thinking I really need to get back some access to this gold. Because look, now I'm down to 13 gold. This is my relic that's causing that slow tick. Get one relic. It's my only source of gold other than the market. And I need to build trebs again. I think I just queued them in random castles, so they're probably rolling from on the other side of the map. But now I'm going to have a lot more than I meant to have. So maybe I'll finally take it out. I decide to go towards the market first, because I do need access to that gold again, please. I did send a little hussar raid in through here, so I did get a few villagers. He's going to come in with the onagers. He might get a nice good splat there. Nope, actually, right over the heads. So I'm going to get a few onagers in there. Meanwhile, fighting again over here. The fights go a lot better when I have these ballista elephants on my side. Even if he converts one, that's alright. But I've also got 4 trebuchets, taking out these freaking towers. Look at him. Oh, that's me actually selling 100 food for 136 gold. Then I realized, wow, that's a good price. And I'm like, well, I'll sell 500. And then now he's buying food. So because he's having to buy food, he's allowing me to sell food. And that's my way out of this no trade mess. I do see that he's massing these units. But I try to send the hussar through for a raid. Don't think, well, I might get through. He's going to try to come in with the champions on the trebs. I do actually get through up there, but these ballistas will absolutely wreck those infantry. He's got some knights there, Cavalier, that easily take care of the Hussar, so I didn't really get much out of that. Still have ballistas guarding the other hole. Somehow I got one Hussar in there. Meanwhile, here comes the big fight on the champions. He's realizing, wow, okay, I can't keep doing that. These two trebs taking out these towers. These two taking out everything over here. Actually 3, now another one. So, yeah, I kind of overproduced on the trebs, but I really want to get rid of these towers and all this stuff that he built on my side of the map. This is my side of the map, bro. You can't be building all this stuff. So, trebs are also kind of inaccurate, so some of these volleys don't actually hit. One of the annoying parts about it. So he's making some towers there. Gonna at least try to kill those villagers before they can do that. Actually do succeed at that. So good, that tower doesn't go up. I'm about to get the last of these towers and then go for the production buildings. Meanwhile, gradually clearing out. He even built a TC on my side of the map. This guy. Honestly, it is a good play, but I'm trying to send these through to get some raids, and it actually does pull all the Cavalier out. Unfortunately, these onagers are going to keep going, and that'd be a good fight against my ballistas. Now I'm just going to fight there and die. Those ballistas still guarding the original choke. These trebs are exposed. I pull this one back, pull this one back. Okay, try to go in for these onagers. The bad thing about onagers, for those of you going onagers, is they have a minimum attack range. So they can't attack the guys directly in front of them. So all I have to do is really just get in on them. And, oh, so close. Almost got all of them. He's going to come in for this treb. He'll actually get it fairly quickly because I was attacking the champions. But these champions are getting nuked. And that onager even is pretty weak, so I can just attack it and kill it if I think about it. There I go. I killed it. Alright, so gonna clear up this army. The Ballista Elephant's great unit for this map, I gotta tell you. Every unit he's sent at me, except for these freaking onagers, have died easily to them. It's just so much to keep track of. I'm still trying to clear out all these towers around this market. Clear out all these buildings that are making champions inside my base. And then there's also this army over here, which I'm just not using at the moment. Although they are finally healed up from the monks I have there. I actually did that on purpose to heal those units. My Hussar are really just there to grab the onagers. And doing a pretty decent job of it. Finally starting to clear this stuff up. Gonna end up clearing these barracks around the same time. He's actually got some units stuck behind here, so I see that and go ahead and take those out before they have a chance to run at me. And these buildings are going to be gone soon. These 2 towers will be gone soon, and I can start trading again. Alright, so he's got 11 onagers over here. Got only just 1 over here. You know, I don't realize it, but I probably could just, like, go in here again. But, again, it's hard to keep track of everything on all sides. I do send a little bit of army here. I think this is mainly just to guard to make sure more doesn't come in. I mean, I could always fix that one hole in the stone wall that I tried to fix earlier. Towers are gone. I can make trade carts again. Already starting. Well, as soon as I'm not pop capped, I'm starting. Those onagers flattened the ballistas. Gonna send some more through. All these Hussar go in for the onagers. He flattened one of his own onagers with that. Alright, more ballistas. I pop capped, so that's part of the problem here. It's really interesting that he is not pop capped. He's only at 140. So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe just, well, it's probably the food. Look at his food count. He's only got 28 on food. Got those 55 trade cards. This is a bad fight. This is a bad fight. I gotta run. Gotta run. And then try to squeeze my fat elephant butts through this one little hole. And hope he doesn't shoot me while I go through it. Okay, good, he didn't. Oh, oh no, oh no. Oh no, okay. I think at that point I realized I can't make any more units until some of these die, so I kind of have to use them. Meanwhile, starting another fight over here. Don't know if this is intentional or not, but some of these ballistas walking around over here. He's trying to come back in here. Actually gonna kill most of these ballistas. I think I'm not paying attention to that. That's for sure. Swooping in with the hussars on these onagers while trying to keep those ballistas alive. But there's actually a good amount of army coming in here, and I need to make sure that it doesn't wreck me again. I finally did get that TC back up. Up to 105 villagers. Massing some army over here. He missed airball with those shots from the onagers. These guys, unfortunately, are fighting halbs instead of going in for the onagers, but we do eventually get to them. He's got a little army sticking out over here. I'm finally moving these trebs over here, knowing that there's nothing left to treb over here, so might as well go through here. Oh, those are towers he never actually finished. So he's still trying to stream some units through here. I really should just finish that wall that I keep missing. I keep forgetting about it. Meanwhile, this army's idle for a second, but I do have the trebs here, so I could start this fight again. I think those just happened to see these units walking by. Gonna start to push in here as well. He's only got 143 pop, so, you know, this is something that I should be able to dominate if I just get the units in the right positions. Unfortunately, I am not paying attention to these, so he's going to get some free splats, including on that treb. I'm going in with the halbs on the onagers, actually, just because they can at least close the distance, but I lost all those halbs just to those towers, and I gotta move these quick. I do still have the monks there, but these are big splashes that I'm taking. Meanwhile, sending a little bit of army through here. He's still got 15 of these towers, keeps, up at this side of his base, so it's just going to be so hard to push through there. I'm fighting under a castle here, so I'm going to lose all these ballista elephants. But I do got 5 trade cards, so I'm starting to get some gold again. Look at him, he's got 64 trade cards, 9,000 gold. What you going to do with all that gold, bro? There's no unit that costs just gold, so I'm gonna have to use something else too. Look at me trying to get that onager with all those hussars. I still didn't even get it. See all those hussars dying? Alright, so selling wood, selling wood, selling wood, selling wood, selling food, selling food. So I'm still selling food for 120 gold each. Wood was actually pretty good price as well. At, well, not that good a price actually. 170 gold for 500, it's not that good. So that's one route to me getting the gold here when I've lost the access to the trade. Still fighting these frickin' onagers. Onagers and halbs. He's got a handful of samurai. He's repairing this castle that I'm trebbing down. Sending the samurai out one at a time. He's down under 140 pop now. These units are really just guarding this area, and now I remembered them and moved them forward a little bit, just to make sure no more army comes through there. I did even repair the hole, so now I'm going to try to send every unit through here. I think there's really not going to be any way for him to come back at this point, but it's just a slow slog because I have to kill all these towers and castles and TCs. Even all around his market, he's got towers, so if I tried to raid his trade, not going to happen. He made sure that I never raided his trade. Got the monks healing the ballista elephants. Hussars in for the onagers, if they could survive the towers. That's 9 towers just in this little area. That's a lot of arrows coming at you, so even my elephants die fast to those, but the Hussar do especially. I guess I'm taking this out in part because it's making some units, so if I take that out, it won't be making those units. He's making another castle over here, which I do see, but hey bro, I got trebs here, so I'll just take it down eventually. He's buying wood, so he's having to buy wood and food. He's only got 10 villagers on wood, 16 on food, and the rest is trade carts. Trying to grab these onagers with the Hussar. We'll see how many I get. Only about 2. But that does mean I can make more Hussar. Don't send them one at a time, though. I'm actually trying to micro away from these shots with my ballista elephants. Spoiler alert, it is not easy to micro with elephants. Although I'm doing a decent job of it. Oh, he went for the treb with that one. So, good shot there. Actually took out that fresh castle while he's repairing this one still. Now these onagers are not going to be able to make it forward. Got the Hussar in front. Trying to take out that last one. Oh, it's an actual elephant. Even the elephant couldn't do it. There's just too many arrows firing. He's actually got a treb here. Oh, not anymore. I'm going to try to come forward with the onagers again. Shot the repair villager. I'm really trying to get this onager with the ballistas, but it's so hard. I really could just sit here with the ballistas and kill those. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Now, look at all these trebs I've got. I got 10 trebs here. So I'm like, your towers are going down, bro. Finally. Meanwhile, got a couple of units guarding to make sure it doesn't bust through that hole again. These ballistas have moved forward on the side. The fight is still occurring in the middle. He's actually still got the score lead, believe it or not. Look down here. He's got the score lead. And he's making more towers. He realizes that's been my biggest trouble this whole game, is those towers. So he's just going to keep making more, even underneath the 10 trebs. Granted, I have trouble getting all the trebs forward because this hole is not that big. But I will eventually get through there. Send some more Hussar in for the onagers. See how many die. 1, 2, 3. 3 died before they even got a hit off. There's 5 dead. Yeah. And I only got... I got 2 of those onagers. Okay. At least I got 2 of them. 2 out of 3. Lost a whole army of Hussars, but... Alright, so he's massing Cavalier. He's going to try that. Maybe that'll do a little better against the ballistas. I do see that. I see he's got these Cavalier here. And I do have a whole bunch of Halbs in the queue, but again, I'm pop-capped. Story of this game, really. I do finally have Oh, I'm up to 12 on gold, so I got 12 trade cards now. I forgot to make more. So, but it's okay. I have enough gold. I'm pop capped. Taking these fights against the infantry is win for me. Actually taking down a lot of these towers. He had 9 towers here just a little bit ago, remember? Now he's down to 5. About to be down to 4. If these trebs can get a good hit on them. Even took down this castle over here. I tried to send the hussar into the trade. And this is actually my first... is it my first time back here? It's my first time back here in a while. I definitely haven't seen all these towers yet. But yeah, so I can't raid his trade. He has made sure that I don't raid his trade. Meanwhile, that's 48 Cavalier that he's got massed there. And actually he's got 53 on the map, so there's more headed over. It looks like one final fight that he's going to try to take here. And I'm going to try to finish off these towers. Even going for the TC, sending a hussar raid over here, only to find, oh, look, more towers. So I hadn't been over here yet, and now I'm finding that, man, this guy's got towers everywhere. Even over here on the side of his base that he doesn't really have any villagers to protect. Oh, gonna get the quick wall? Oh, not quite. I'm not gonna notice. I did take out that tower, last tower on that side, finally. Did kill a few wood villagers, which he is hurting for wood, but he's basically got an all-trade eco, and he has for a long time. I still have these 10 trebs, only 4 of them are actually working at the moment. I'm healing these ballista elephants. I don't want to have to keep replacing them. Just one monk, though. He's going to take forever to do that. These hussar did get cleaned up. Actually, one went and tried to get a raid in on his trade, but again, he's very protected from that. These ballistas have actually... I tried to go over into this corner, and I saw the towers, and I was like, screw that, and I've just taken out production buildings as I make my way around. These are the ones that came through this hole a long time ago. I feel like there's towers everywhere, so this is why my push is really stalling. Although you can see I'm packing the trebs up. I'm going to be moving soon. But I figure at this point, surely I've got this game, although he still has the score lead. And maybe that's just because all the gold he's gotten from the trade. I don't know, but I took out his monastery, which had the relic. I sent these in here mainly just to see what's over here, and that's when I saw all these Cavalier. Also, it's going to free up some pop space for me to make these halbs. I've got 34 halbs in the cube, and no room for them. So, anyways, those are going to go chase trade carts until they die to towers. And here come the Cavalier. He has 70 Cavalier versus 52 Ballista Elephants. I got a couple of monks trying to get conversions. Did get a couple of conversions. But these ballistas are wrecking. Did he get all the trebs? Looks like he got all the trebs. So, stalling this game out once again. Managed to grab all those trebs. But I did keep all the ballistas, and he's down to 23. So he lost 50 Cavalier in that fight, and I didn't. I lost maybe 1 or 2 ballista elephants. But guess what? I got more trebs. 5 trebs coming in for you. Even these are coming around from the side. He's still buying food, buying stone to make more frickin' towers. Oh, he made a scorpion. That's probably a misclick. He did start to make more villagers again, so there's at least that. I'm moving forward right through the center, knowing that I've already cleared out this half of the map, except for the trade, of course. But I figure if I go through the center, I will cut off the trade, even if I don't actually go through the towers on either end. Ooh, Cavalier trying to... Oh, guess what? Cavalier trying to go well for the trebs, and then also for a raid here. They're gonna get the trebs, aren't they? They're gonna get the trebs. They got the trebs. They're gonna die. Now they're gonna try to go for the raid. I do see this coming. So... Villager, move, 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 villager. Oh, oh, no. Okay, haven't... Okay. So, he didn't actually get through there, thankfully. I didn't move fast enough with the villager, but thankfully he turned around to attack the pikeman, or halberdier, and was not able to get through. But I was putting that gate up precisely for this reason, to make sure he couldn't actually send anything forward. So I noticed once I sent my army this far forward, I was like, well, he could easily just loop around here. But I finished that. I'm building production buildings on his side of the map now. How does it feel, bro? And guess what? Now I'm in your trade. I got ballista elephants in your trade in the part where you don't have towers. Oh, those trade carts are just dying. He's going to send in the Cavalier. Got the 47 Cavalier here. Those numbers are dwindling fast. Even got some Halbs in here to help out. Didn't really even need the Halbs, to be honest. These ballistas are so good. But now I'm up in the trade, and he calls the GG. That was a long one. So I had to spend this good portion of this game without any gold access because I ate all the gold on my map, and he came through the side and completely walled off and towered up around my market, so I couldn't trade. But thankfully, he was not able to take out my castles or my production or most of my economy. And because he was so invested in the trade and buying food and wood, that meant that I could sell food and wood and keep myself in the game. So because he was so imbalanced, I think that's ultimately why I was able to stay in it, even though he had a good move over here. And I didn't defend against that push very well. Well, let's see the statistics. It's going to be a lot. 1,000 to 900 on the KD. So, a lot of units killed in this game. I killed a lot more buildings, 119 buildings. I swear 100 of those were towers. That guy had so many towers. We counted like 50 towers at one point. At least. So, that was so annoying. It takes forever. I gotta pack and unpack the trebs, have them send inaccurate volleys, half of which miss, and then slowly inch my way forward. Meanwhile, he chops a hole in the side and makes a side raid. So annoying. Army high, I did have a little more army than him, mainly because I think I lost some villagers there. So, look at the gold collected. 109,000 gold collected. 91,000 of that was from trade. That's incredible. But I had a lot more food collected. I had 131,000 food, so that's like 3 times as much food as him. I had a lot more wood. We each ate all our stone. I only had a little bit more relic gold because I took out his monastery there at the end. This was my castle time. I'm very proud of that. I'm sure there's a way to get faster than that, but I don't know the Khmer and the build orders well enough. I just sort of wing it, and for winging it, that's pretty good. I don't mind that. Was able to get a solid boom in there for a little bit. So I had a pretty decent lead on the villagers here. Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay, you can see here it separates the villagers from the trade units. So I actually had 129 villagers and 15 trade units. He only had 60 villagers but 3 times as many trade units. So he did at one point have 146 villagers though. So he must have either this is when I attacked or he just deleted some villagers. But Yeah, so let's look at the military here. Okay, yeah, so I had a strong military. I was pop capped just about that whole game, which is frustrating because you're trying to make more army and send it somewhere else, and while the other army is guarding somewhere else, and you can't, you end up having to move your army because you can't make any more. Um, but overall, honestly, an interesting game. It was a good game, but mainly an interesting game because he came in and nuked my trade, and I was able to still somehow eke it out through the market.